Hola, and welcome to Oye Cinema Club. Tonight, we will be reviewing the 1989 cult following movie, Heathers. Really excited to dive into this. Directed by Michael Lehmann. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that one. I've heard about it a lot. Everyone knows I love a good Mean Girl movie, and people have always told me, like, oh, you need to watch Heathers. It's one of the OG Mean Girl movies, and I'm super surprised that I never watched it, but I'm not alone tonight. Tonight, reviewing this movie with me will also be Steve Des and Jason Eccles.
Cheers.
My Heathers. No, I'm just kidding. um, Perfect. So, Leah, before I get into my first impression, I want to hear Steve's first impression of this film.
Oh my God, my first impressions. I wasn't expecting to go so fast, but if I have to go, I have to go. Uh yeah, I was like, of course, this is Marina's pick, like it's just Mean Girls, but even meaner. You can tag it, even meaner than a remake for later. Uh I confirm, especially with this movie, that like people that like cook spaghetti are crazy. Because it was like I'm going to eat my favorite spaghetti at the house. Um, there's so many things about this movie that is just like, yeah, I can see it's definitely like a dark comedy. Because I was just like, for example, like, why was she using a monocle like the whole time? That was just like, why is she looking like the Monopoly man? Um, and but something about this movie, I feel for some reason, I honestly do not remember, but for some reason, there was something about me watching this movie, feeling like I seen this movie before. I don't
Mm.
know when, why, how, but I felt like throughout the whole movie, like I seen this before. I don't know when, how, or nothing, but like yeah. And another title for this movie will be, I dated the school shooter, or something like that. I think that will be also a little accurate title for this movie. There's a lot of deaths and killing in this movie. Like I wasn't expecting a movie called Heathers to have all this stuff, but again, when all that stuff started happening, I was like, I feel like I've seen this before. But anyway, those are my first impressions for now.
Awesome. Jason, what are your first impressions?
Indeed. So this is not my first time seeing this movie. This is second. And the reason I saw it the first time is because of Mean Girls. When I first, I don't know if it's when I first saw Mean Girls, but when like, I think maybe after I read Tina Fey's book or something, and she talked about how, this was kind of like her inspiration or remake of Heather's. Mean Girls was a remake of that, or like her, inspired heavily by it. I'm like, oh well, let's see what that is. But I didn't really forget the movie, but I did forget that this is more of like a murder plot. This is like more of a murder movie, and it's like I kind of forgot that even when the movie first started, I I guess I kind of remembered it scene by scene, but I kind of forgot what the entire the movie is about, and it is very much a dark comedy. It's pretty dark, like, right away, like, just with how the interactions happen, like, in the school, and we see who the Heathers are and, how mean they are to everybody and, humiliating people and just yeah, and the other thing I thought about when I first saw Christian Slater, not first saw, but when I was watching Christian Slater throughout the movie, I was like, he's just doing what he always does, which is just a Jack Nicholson impression. And like, I don't know why. I don't think I've ever heard anybody call him out on that. It's like his whole acting, at least in the '80s, was just him doing Jack Nicholson. Like it's just like I'm young Jack Nicholson. It's like that's his whole thing. Um, Christian Slater and what Winona Ryder. Yeah, just like classic '80s power couple sort of thing in this movie. Like it just is what it is. Although this isn't, I don't feel like this is one of those movies that is talked about a lot with the '80s. It's kind of like on the outskirts, and I think it's because it's not your typical teen comedy or teen dramedy or whatever you want to call it. There's murder happening in this thing. They kill people. And so it's like this is like some pretty serious stuff. There's some other stuff that kind of stuck out to me that I didn't really notice the first time for whatever reason. Like they sleep with each other pretty fast. Like this is like kind of like natural born killers. You know, they I think it's just their second or third time meeting. They were already sleeping together, and it's like he crawled through her window, and it's like, well, let's get it on. Kind of like it was weird. I'm like, oh, that's strange. Like I guess that's just the way things are sometimes. But I do like this movie. I'm gonna be honest. I like this movie better the second time viewing it than I did the first. And I think the first time it just kind of struck me as weird because there's so much murder in it. There's so much there's so much violence in this thing. And I just thought of it being a funny teen comedy the first time. I was like, this ain't that. But kind of knowing what I was getting into a little bit more this time, I was like, yeah, this movie is actually pretty clever. So yeah, those were my first impressions. But I like the thing, and I like most stuff that Winona Ryder's in. I really liked her 1980s, 90s acting. She was so different than everybody else.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so my first impressions. This was my first time watching it. Like I said, like people have recommended over the years, and like Jason, like considering this is the first time I'm watching it, I was a little thrown off that it was like so murdery. Like if someone's like, "Oh, you like Mean Girls? Watch this." I'm like, Regina George didn't kill anybody, guys. Like, come on. Like this is not. I understand some of the parallels, just like the high school and like people like we got the jocks and there were some parallels, but yeah, the murder was pretty heavy. Like it was very eerie almost, especially like it's always interesting to me watching something when someone has passed away. And I know Shannon Doherty, me and probably saying her last name wrong. She recently passed, so it was kind of eerie that it's like a murder movie and she's no longer here. Like it was just like it was weird. Like there's just like whatever they were trying to do, like the darkness, I think it would have done a lot better now. Cause I was reading, I think like it didn't do too well in the box office. And I'm like, it probably weirded everybody out. Like I would have clutched my pearls in the 80s, like if something like this had come out. Like it just weird. Like even the intro scene when they're playing um where they're playing the rack whatever
Croquet,
the cricket game and her head's in the ground. I'm like,
croquet,
yeah,
croquet.
yeah, croquet or yeah, whatever. I'm done trying to pretend like I knew the word. Yeah, I was just like, this is like it kind of almost gives you Beetlejuice vibes at some point, and like, yeah, it was just yeah, it was really strange. I still enjoyed it. Um, for what it was, I just was not expecting like the crazy we kill with each other. And then I thought it was gonna be more so like him, but there was also kind of her. Like it just threw me off a little bit, but it still was a story that you could follow. And I guess like it still held like a good message. But yeah, it was creepy and just kind of tough considering like these days, like how often things happen in schools and people get killed. Like it was just yeah, it was tough, but very interesting. But yeah, so that was my first impression. I guess we can kind of I'm curious what everybody's favorite character was.
Hmm, my favorite character. Uh, I
While Jason
like.
thinks about his favorite character, I am going to tell you my favorite character. And it definitely had to be, the guy from Beetlejuice, that played the father at the church. No, I'm kidding, but I was very surprised that he was there. I was just like, is he gonna do the dance right now? Is he gonna shake, shake, shake Sonora? But I have to give an honorable mention. This hasn't it's not favorite character, but it's just part of it. I just want to mention it right now. Well, Jason thinks of his favorite character. Uh, is when she's at the altar scene that Heather comes back and is very Beetlejuicy, like how her whole hairstyle of that Heather and like her dress and everything was amazing. So I want to
Hmm.
give a shout out to that.
Oh yeah, she did look nice. I thought about that. Like and it was kind of cool. You get a flashback scene. like you're a ghost now. I thought she was gone forever. But
Yeah, Winona Ryder, she kind of like gets pretty dark after she kills Heather, or well, she didn't really kill Heather. But, I mean, she's a part of the plot to kill Heather. But like, you notice like how her wardrobe changed, and she like it got very like dark all of a sudden. It's like it was almost like her Beetlejuice character. She turned into Lydia.
Which came first? Just so I know too. When did Beetlejuice come out?
It
I
had
think
to
it was
be
about
had to
89.
be after, because I don't know if you saw what I sent you, but essentially she like when she read the script for this, she was like, I want to do this for free, in essence. And she didn't her audition was not so great, but then she ended up getting the actual part
Mm. For Heather's or Beetlejuice.
for
For
Heather.
Heather's. But it does, I mean, like, who knows when they filmed it? But Beetlejuice came out in 1988. So maybe like
So this came out what, a year before Beetlejuice?
year after.
Oh wow, a year after Beetlejuice. Huh. Interesting. I can see that. I feel like she does look a little younger in Beetlejuice, but I mean
And,
that's
and like and then what you kind of had sent me, Steve, too, like it was saying that she was getting a hard time being casted in something that was beautiful. Because like in Beetlejuice, like her paleness and her demeanor worked for it. But she was trying to like be in this movie with these blonde haired Heathers, you know what I mean? And so it was just, it was a different, it was hard to pivot. It's kind of cool that she did pivot because like she was told not to take it because it seemed like, the movie's probably not going to do well. But like it did kind of change the outlook where people saw her as pretty instead of just seeing her as the girl from Beetlejuice, So,
good.
yeah. What about who's your guys' favorite? We just
So my favorite, I think I like the Shannon Doherty Heather the best. For no other particular reason other than it's Shannon Doherty.
yeah. Yeah, I feel it.
Heather Duke.
And so
What about you?
for me, I definitely go with Winona's character Veronica. I just liked it. The writer, it was crazy. Like you never know how much of like an influence like a character you've played has on things. Because in Little Women, she's a writer. So in my mind, I was like, I wonder if this was in her audition tape, like her writing things down to like to
When
be.
she was first writing, did you notice like how big and sloppy her words were? I forgot that she killed somebody in this movie. Like I forgot it, and when I was watching it, I looked. I was like, "Man, why does she got this murderer handwriting?" And I'm wondering, is that like was that by design? Because that's what it looked like.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I really liked her role in it, and I was like kind of diving into some of these people. Um, the lady that played the Heather that died first, she was actually Christian Slater's girlfriend at the time.
Wow,
Yeah, talking about like, got to know somebody to make it in this city. Like it's pretty
that's a
funny.
hurt.
Yeah, she had a short role when you think about it, but yeah, it was very interesting.
And think
Yeah, it is
about it.
funny. Like she does, she's like the main Heather, and she sets the tone of this whole thing. And then she's like has the shortest role. She made a lot out of a little.
Hmm.
Yeah, and think about it. He killed her first.
He's like, get her out of here.
So I'm gonna mention favorite characters. Got to be the outcast, man. Like we gotta talk about,
Sure.
my one lady, that's out there getting that little prank message going like talk to me, and she goes and
Mhm.
talks to the jock, and then tries to kill herself, and then ends up hanging out with Winona. You know what I'm saying? And also the other outcast lady with the glasses, that played the little the little what's that called again?
Like the
Cricket, croquet.
oh
Cro-
yeah.
Croquet, yeah. They played the little dog treat croquet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Martha, the first person you mentioned, I loved her. I don't know what I was expecting her to talk like, because you notice she didn't really talk
Hmm. Yeah.
until like she didn't talk when she showed the guy the note. She didn't talk when she walked into the street. She didn't talk when she was like hiding from the suicide event. And she didn't, but when she said, "You want to come over and watch a movie?" She said, "Yeah, I'd really like that." I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I know you're heavier, but like you're still in high school. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that I was looking at in this movie too. I was looking at a lot of the background, and I was like, yeah, a lot of this background looks older, but I mean that's just how it is in the 80s and 90s. And like some of them looked like they could have like just got out of high school, but nobody in this movie looks like a high school kid.
Man, it's crazy
And
how
some
they
of them have mustaches. I know it was the 80s and people looked older back then, but some of them have full mustaches in high school.
yeah. I didn't
I had
maybe
a
I
full mustache in high school.
Oh,
you
you
had a
got a full mustache in high school? Just rocking the full plug.
I had a full mustache in middle school, my guy.
oh,
Jesus Christ.
all right, me too. I'm just kidding.
That's wild.
Awesome. So, all right.
Hey
So,
little boy, you want this electric shaver for your prize?
all right. So I have to say it, dark comedy. So it was dark. What is your guys' favorite murder?
Hmm, good question. I liked when the jocks got murdered because I just felt like they kind of deserved it. I like get them out of here.
What about you, Steve?
Uh, I have to think about mine.
Okay. I mean, wait, what are we really working with, right? And it's so funny because I read somewhere that like the original screenplay had like more
Mhm,
death. Like, did we really even have much? Like, we had Heather,
mhm.
and then we had
Well, didn't all the didn't they all get it?
they all get killed.
Yeah, all the Heathers didn't they all die?
How did the second one die? I don't think so. I think like she dreamed that he was gonna kill the third one, but she takes her scrunchie at the end.
Right.
So how did the one that called the hotline to say she was sad? Did she get killed? I
Let
don't
me
think
double
so.
check.
Yeah, I think they were like he was hoping she'd kill herself, like in the bathroom when she chugs all those pills. But she
Oh no,
technically
you're right. My bad.
technically saved her. So technically, right, there's only two murders. It's only Heather and then it's the jocks. Yeah.
Right.
So like I guess my favorite though is when he kills himself. Like it was kind of like he stuck to the plan.
Oh, what about Shannon Doherty's character?
And that's the one I'm saying. At the end she takes the scrunchie from her and she said there's a new sheriff in town.
She didn't get oh never
Mm-mm,
mind.
she
You're right.
dreams that he kills her, and then she wakes up and pretends to kill herself. That's crazy, like, as intense as the movie was, it's very interesting that when you think about it, there's only 2 real scenarios.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. But what was the deal with the first thing that happened when Christian
Let me
Slater
tell you.
pulled a gun on those dudes?
with
Was
the
that
what?
just like a joke?
With what?
Do you remember in the beginning when the two jocks were like trying to bully, they were trying to press Christian Slater and he pulled out a gun on them?
Oh, he shot them with blanks.
Did they shoot him?
I think he did, because they said he got, like, suspended or something.
Okay, but they had cut away from it though, so we didn't really see anything, right?
Yeah, but those are
Okay,
the 2 guys that they kill later.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting, I was like, "Oh, we're just getting started off with a bang," but
Yeah, wild. Like yeah.
Steve, you thought about it? What out of the very many deaths we have to choose from?
Well, I'm not gonna say favorite murder, but I'm gonna say favorite moment.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily when he kills himself. It was more of how Winona, Veronica, is just out there standing with the cigarette and just like not giving an F.
Mhm. Yeah, it's pretty
Jason
classic.
B.
It's pretty classic because, like, low key, she's getting off scot-free. You know what I mean? I was thinking about that. I'm like, yeah, she low key isn't gonna go to jail. Like, no one's ever gonna think of anything. I thought it was so
I was
funny.
just like, I was just like, yo, they need to beef up the security in this school. My guy, like, there's so many things happening, and what everybody's at the pep rally. Like, what's going on?
And then The freaking like the funeral scenes were hilarious because like the dad when he's like, "Yeah, my son was gay and I love him." And, and I'm just cracking up that they said like seltzer water is a sure sign that men are gay. I thought that was so funny. And he was like, "People drink seltzer water." She's like, "Not in Ohio or wherever they were at."
Mhm.
Well,
Uh,
how many people did they kill when the dynamite went off or when the explosion went off?
But that's the thing. I think like whatever they did, it didn't connect to the pep rally. Whatever they did downstairs, because I think what would have happened is the explosive would have turned off the radiators and the radiators would have exploded and then that would have made the other ones explode.
Mhm.
I think it was like dynamite to dynamite because that's how she said that the dad like blew up one of those buildings. I'm not like don't quote me bomb experts, but I think that's how it was gonna go. So I think once that was out of there, him blowing himself up no longer would connect all that.
Also, what do you guys speculate that happened to the mom?
Oh yeah, he definitely killed her.
Yeah,
Oh
out of it.
no, just kidding. He told the story. He said that the mom went in the building to kill herself. So I think it's like mental illness. Like I think it runs because he said that like when the dad was going to blow up one of his buildings, the mom waved at him and went inside. Like I don't think she wanted to be married to someone like that evil anymore. What about you guys?
You talking about Mrs. Dean, his mom?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I mean, if we believe the story, believe the story. I mean, I feel like he has to come from some kind of mental illness. Like this kid is like,
Think he was mentally ill?
yeah, or just overly
I mean, I
privileged.
get it. Murderer, regardless. Did he mean to kill the first girl, or was it a joke and it just went that way?
He 100% mean to kill that girl. He switched the drinks.
Yeah, but I thought like they put everything away on the counter, and then like he picked up the drink, and
One
maybe
had
it was
a
like
lid
the,
on it.
the wrong one or
How do
something.
you not know that the blue one and the orange one, like well, the orange and milk combination, did not have a lid on it?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean we know that now, but was he paying attention or was it on accident? That's what
And
I'm asking. Like as the
well,
character, did the
I think
character know?
I think he always wanted to do it because, like, even when they killed the guys, he lied to her and told her that they were going to use blanks again,
Yeah. Okay.
and then they
No, you're
didn't.
right.
I think he was like, I think he was just really good at not showing that he was kind of crazy because, like, yeah, just pretend like, oh yeah, whatever. Because in the end, like, how do you go from like, oops, killing people to like, oh, I came in here to kill you. You already did it yourself. Like, it just
He did say that he got kicked out of I don't know how many schools.
no,
Bad apple.
probably killing the school with rats. Start somewhere.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He's back here. He's a bad guy.
What do you guys think happened to the mom then? With all that being said,
Well, I guess the story, if you want to believe that. But I thought the dad killed her or something.
oh, you think the dad killed her?
Yeah, I'm like, well, this dude had to learn to kill people from somewhere.
Hmm,
I don't
maybe.
think, yeah, I don't think in the '80s there's that many. I don't think Super Mario is teaching you how to kill. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's such random that they had like that poison at the house, though. It's crazy that like under the counter things, like things under your cabinet, could really take you out like that back
Yeah.
then.
I mean, yeah, it wasn't like traditional poison. It was like house cleaner shit, right?
Yeah, but yeah, it was very interesting. It is very crazy. Like it's definitely I got to give it to be well written on the thrill for because I literally until we just discussed it, I didn't realize that there was not a lot of deaths. Like I felt like I was on the edge of my seat waiting for people to die a lot. And maybe it was like the dreams helped out with that because we technically like that funeral scene where you said you saw the first Heather, that was technically the other Heather's funeral, but it just never happened. And then she also has a dream that like he sneaks into the girl's room with a knife and kills her on the couch, but he didn't. Um awesome. We kind of dived into moments, but I guess we can just like pick an entire scene then like favorite any other favorite scenes that stand out to you guys?
Favorite scene that stands out. Uh, well, something I had forgot about, and you said it kind of only because it kind of indicates what you're getting yourself into. It shows like these cute girls or whatever, and they're sitting and they're having lemonade in the very beginning, the opening sequence. I completely forgot about, and it was really interesting to me because they seem like they're like almost maybe like private school girls. They're wearing like what almost seems like uniform, and then they stand up to go play their game and they crush those flowers. And then it's like, wow, like did they do it on purpose or they just not care about these flowers? Like whose house are they at? Like why did they do that? And I mean, it tells the whole movie right there. Like they're gonna crush pretty little things. You know what I mean? Like they don't care. They're ruthless girls. They're ruthless high school girls. That was really interesting choice, like for the director to do that. It kind of sets a tone right away that you're getting into some Mean Girl stuff. And I didn't remember really recognizing that the first time around. So I do like that opening scene a little bit. And I also, but I mean, the climax of the movie where she has to take JD out, I like that too, though.
Oh yeah.
Jason Dean, murderer extraordinaire.
Um, for me, I'm trying to think. I kind of like the parent moments, like how disconnected like your parents are from how big your high school problems are, which
Yep.
is true. Like there's bigger things in life, right? Like
Mhm.
high school for a normal person, no matter how much you're going through, more than likely your adulthood is going to hit you harder than that. So I
True.
feel like that was just the assumption of her parents, not realizing that she like murdered people at this point, and she was like in love with the psychopath, and like they even like believed the psychopath because he was telling them that, oh, I think she's going to commit suicide or
Yeah.
whatever. So
Yeah.
it's just like I do like I like how movies in like the 80s and even early 90s did that. Like parents are so disconnected from these kids, like too busy like being the first CEOs, like not not paying attention.
I feel like that's a theme in most like high school movies though. Like the parents are disconnected from the kids' lives. And it's one of the questions that I almost ask every time I see a movie, like, where are the parents? Like where are they at? They have no influence in that situation. But I mean that's kind of how life is. Like you're once you're like away from home and in high school and like all these like you go to the mall on the weekend or whatever kids did in the 80s and 90s, like you're just awake, you're gone. It reminds me of movies like Kids. I don't know if you guys ever saw that one, but that movie where those kids are running around New York the whole thing, and like you just keep asking, like these kids are doing bad stuff. They're like, hurting people in the park and spreading AIDS to each other, and like there's no parents. Like the parents, they don't know what's going on with their kids once their kids hit that like young adult age. They have no clue.
I know. Even like trying to think, like even like remember that movie? I remember it shocked everyone. It was called like 13. Did you guys ever watch that?
13 going on 30.
No, it was just literally I think called
Oh,
13.
13. Yeah, I remember that. That was Rachel Evan Woods and I forget the other girl, but yeah, they were both really good.
And I wasn't allowed to watch it when I was a kid, and maybe it wasn't 13. Was it?
I think it was called 13.
Was it? Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Evan Rachel Wood and Holly Hunter and Nikki
Yep.
Reed. Interesting. But yeah, like I wasn't allowed to watch it when I was younger because like in my religion I grew up with, they were like, "Oh, you guys can't watch that movie." And I'm just like, "Whoa, I finally watched it a couple years ago." And it was just like, yeah, again, like it's just tough what the youth go through in that weird delicate state where you're no longer a little kid playing tag, but you're not necessarily an adult yet, and just like the things that you could be exposed to. It's super scary. And like I said, like they had zero idea that their daughter is just like killing people. And just yeah. So yeah, it was like I said, it was a very eerie thing too. And Steven mentioned that like he felt like he had seen it before. And I felt like I don't know, maybe it is like the callbacks in other movies. But yeah, there was something very familiar about it. But this was definitely my first time.
Is it because up front it kind of reminds you of Regina George in the Mean Girls?
For me though, it wasn't even like the high school similarities. Like I said, like it gave me the Beetlejuice vibes. It was more the thrilling side that came with it. I also feel like the aura reminded me of like, did you guys ever see Jawbreaker?
Maybe.
Kind of
I
reminded me
sounds
more of,
familiar.
like, a Jawbreaker, because in that movie, like, they kill the girl and they're hiding it, and, so, I don't know, it just kinda gave me that
Oh,
feeling.
right, Jawbreaker.
Yeah, but yeah, it's tough to say, but yeah, there was maybe, like, throughout the movie, there's things I definitely noticed, like, in other high school movies, even, like, the fashion kinda remind me of Clueless. Like, there was a lot of little things
I
where I
like the fashion in this movie, actually. I was
think
like, "Man, these kids are dressed kinda cool." It changed, like, I after, like, the '90s, I feel like it changed a lot where kids dressed more like rappers, which kinda made them look like with the logos and stuff on everything, and it kinda makes them look more like kids, where
yeah.
these kids were kinda wearing, like, grown-up clothes.
Yeah, and that's why I definitely say, like, I feel like Clueless is about rich kids, and I feel like the aesthetic of, like, fancy lasted longer in, like, the private schools and stuff, longer than it lasted in, like, a public inner city school. I definitely do know that shift, like, in all the movies, it used to be, like, your pin curled hair and, like, a very, like, um what's her name from Fresh Prince? The oldest one?
Actually,
Hilary
or
Banks type
Hillary Banks.
Hillary
Yeah,
Banks kinda look. That slowly but surely became, like, rich people aesthetic, and, like, jeans and oversized clothing became,
yep.
like, the hip, cool high school, like yeah, so, yeah. But, yeah, no, I definitely like their outfits, they were really cute. Like, where are those where's that, like, wardrobe department now? I'm curious, like
You know what's great though? Like almost everything that these ladies are wearing in this movie, and the guys too. Like people will wear that now. Like you would catch a high school kid wearing that now. Like everything, like where we're at in fashion. Like for somebody had a great video that I saw recently where it talked about like fashion in movies, and it said like fashion in movies stopped changing after like 2000. And you can watch any movie after 2001 till now, and you can't tell what year the movie is by the fashion. You know what a 90s movie, 80s, 70s, whatever, you know all those movies just by the fashion. Nothing has really changed now except for the fact that everything goes. You can wear fashion from any era. You don't have to wear stuff that matches anymore. Like it doesn't matter. You just put clothes on and that's how the world is. And I don't know if we're ever going back to like one dedicated style because the world is so globalized now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And, like, it's bittersweet that we can be our own person now. A lot of people have their own fashion, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I love that for them, but it is very interesting how, like, there's still trends. Like, I definitely
yeah, there's still the trends and niches for sure. But like overall, I mean, yeah, there's trends like here's this particular thing, this little style. And then
Mhm.
that's it. There's not like a overwhelming like, oh, this is fashion now.
Yeah. No, I agree.
You don't have
I
shoulder
miss
pads? What a nerd. You know what I mean?
so super side note, I looked up like a couple of cool fun facts about this. So you guys notice how they were playing like Que Sera Sera a lot in the movie?
Yes.
Doris Day refused to like allow her version to be in it
Hmm.
because she disliked how much profanity was in the movie.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And there was a couple other fun stuff. Like Brad Pitt auditioned for the role of JD, but they said he looked too nice.
That's pretty
And
cool. I can see
then
that.
both Jennifer Connelly and Justine Bateman turned down the role of Veronica in Heathers.
Wow.
That's just so
Wait,
cool.
wait. Say the actresses again.
Um, Jennifer Connelly and Justine Bateman.
I don't know who Justin Bateman is. That's crazy.
Okay, she looks familiar. I feel like I've seen her in stuff. Maybe even it's so random. I'm sure she's had so much more under her belt, but she was in Desperate Housewives for a little bit. But I'm sure she has other things. That's so funny. That's what stands out for me. But yeah.
I could
Um,
see Jennifer Connelly in this role, though. To be honest with you, I mean, it would have been a different kind of thing, but I could have definitely seen her in this.
and she's definitely probably like the hottie that they were looking for. You know what
Yep.
I mean? Like Winona
Yep.
is like beautiful in her own way, but when it comes to
Mhm.
like a brunette person who just like stands out, and like, yeah, I can 100% see her being that person.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure, for sure.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just a different vibe. It's a different vibe with Winona, and she's great. But yeah, it just feels like maybe it was more for Jennifer Connelly, for sure.
yeah,
Like she feel like
perhaps,
she would have fit into the Heathers more automatically. It doesn't
yeah,
feel like she ever really fit in with the Heathers. Like she didn't want to be there.
yeah, and it kind of worked out because like it was more believable that she may have had a nerdy friend before. You know what I mean? Like, it was more, like, believable that she didn't 100% feel like she belonged, whereas maybe someone that was, like, equally, if not more hot, it would've been like, did you really hang out with Justine or whatever her name was last year? Probably not. Like, you probably have always
Yeah,
been popular. So, yeah. Well,
sure.
awesome. Well, if we don't have anything
You guys want some box office
else.
numbers on this thing?
Yes.
Uh, they say here that the budget was $2 or $3 million. 3 million comes up a few times. But the box office was 1.1 million.
Yikes.
So this thing was just like some kind of way, just like a devastating flop at the box office. Um, like this movie did nothing at the box office, but for some reason it carries so much weight, like in the cultural ether. Um, I guess it did well on VHS or just one of those things. Maybe DVD is what boosted this thing. I don't know. I don't know the story about how this thing like got very popular. Maybe because the actors that are in it. I mean, you've got a lot of big name actors in this thing. Um, but it's definitely one of those things that people caught a little later.
I know another yeah, it's like I said, so many people have recommended this to me and I'm always like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll eventually watch Heathers." Like, I don't know why it never like was a priority considering I do like high school films and stuff. Um, but on another honorable mention on character, Phil Lewis was randomly in this movie. It
Who's
was
that?
so Phil Lewis.
Oh, sure.
I was just like, "Wait a minute." At first I didn't recognize him, and then I was just like, "Oh, shoot." I didn't realize he went that far back. Because for me, I mean, I'm like making myself sound a little young. I just remember him from The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. He was like the hotel guy, but I know he's played in a lot of stuff. But like, just for the youngins out there, who grew up on Disney, like, he was just like one of like the regular characters on that. So it's kind of funny to see him.
This
So
is
young.
kind of cool too. I just looked it up. It just popped up to me. It says that when the script was originally written by the writer, he wanted Stanley Kubrick to direct it.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
this movie would have been a lot weirder and probably darker and more layered if Stanley Kubrick was involved. I can't really see Kubrick doing this. It would have been a very different movie. I mean, it will put me in the mind of like Clockwork Orange or something if Kubrick directed it in like
Maybe more
darker,
murder.
kind of funny. Yeah, like just you know, Clockwork Orange might even be considered a dark comedy, like the darkest of comedies. But yeah, it would just be a different thing altogether.
Yeah, and a lot of interesting. It just it stinks that it didn't do too well, but like it's very well known. So I mean, yeah, it's just tough. Money talks. So
Yeah.
I'd be very. I think it was ahead of its time because, like I said, I think like the Jawbreakers and stuff. I think it did better. Like, don't quote me. Maybe it also tanked, but I just feel like maybe if it would have came out closer to like 1999, 2000, it would have done better. Whereas like it was still a weird time frame
Yeah,
to talk about like murdering high schoolers and it not to be
a horror
realistic.
movie.
Yeah, it was just but being sold as not a horror movie, it's a dark comedy, like, I don't know. So, yeah, maybe just timing. I definitely, and book me, haha, I could see this being remade. You don't
Yeah,
think so?
I guess in a way this could be. I mean, listen, it did. It was called Mean Girls.
Wait, Regina George did not kill anybody?
I mean, like, I just feel like I feel like Mean Girls is a cleaner Heather's remake. You know, it didn't have to be as sinister, but I mean the lesson and the moral, the morality of Mean Girls is all right there. It's like they're almost about to kill each other in Mean Girls before Tina Fey steps in and says, "Okay." and the principal goes, "All right, that's enough." Like it's almost leading to Heather's, and Regina did get murdered. Well, not murdered, but nearly murdered at the end, right?
I did not leave the South Side for this. I felt that in my heart. I could, growing up in Illinois, I felt that in my heart that he got out that South Side of Chicago, was a principal in an
Yeah.
Illinois suburb. But yeah, all right. Well, if no one has anything else to talk about, we can dive into those final thoughts.
All right.
And let's start off where we started with Steve.
Final thoughts. I'll keep mine short, brief, and amazing. Um, it's quite the movie, quite the film. I think Winona Ryder makes it work. You know what I'm saying? Such a dope actress, carries the film really well, and oddly enough, makes you feel okay about murder, which is weird to say. It's like the first film that involves a lot of heavy murder that I was like, I guess okay with. I guess. Because everything had like a silver lining or a moment of like, oh, she's murdered, but now she's more popular, or like and like all this stuff. And also the motive sometimes of like the reason they were murdering people was like, oh my god, they're so annoying. I wish I could just murder them. Like it's just like stuff like that was just like ridiculous. That's why this is in the realm of dark comedy. Uh, I feel like, I mean, Mean Girls is a good movie, and Marina might argue that it's the greatest movie of all time. But I personally feel I like Heather's more, in my opinion. So definitely would recommend to people that are into high schooly mean girl type vibes like Marina. Maybe all Marina's friends at the bars she frequents, and that's my thoughts.
Awesome.
Right
Jason.
on. Right on. So I will say, before I say anything else, I will say that we were just talking about how this thing, how did it kind of reach like critical mass the way that it did, or like the people, the movie. I was just reading here that the movie was critically praised, and even though it didn't do very well at the box office, like word of mouth kind of helped the movie spread through like mostly DVD. It says mostly DVD, but I mean, people knew about its success from VHS and Blu-ray as well. And the DVD had a few re-releases. So I guess they will re-release it with different cuts or add-ons and whatnot, and that kind of helped boost the movie up. But it kind of found its second life in the after theatrical market. Um, I feel like a lot of movies kind of did that. Movies all from like the probably 70s through the 90s caught a second life because of DVD, to be honest with you. And maybe even after that, there's certain movies that didn't do that great, and this is one of them. But it is a pretty good movie, and it deserved better than $1 million box office. I would see this again. I don't need to see it anytime soon, but I can see myself going back and watching this again for reference, or I don't hate this movie by any standard. It's totally watchable. I do, and also when I see movies like this, especially in the '80s, there's something that I really like about the language, like the slang, because it's very rare. I've watched a few '80s movies in the past couple years. It's very rare that any of the kids in any of these '80s movies are using the same slang. Like there's no universal like in the '90s, everybody kind of had the same slang. In the '80s, everybody just kind of had their own slang, and they just kind of like that's the slang in this universe. You know what I mean? And one of their slangs is oh very or that's so very or what did they say? How did they say it? Do you guys remember?
I don't.
They said it like 100 times in the movie. They're like, oh that's so very or that's very, or very or something like that. But like I kind of like when like Like as if I don't know if that was like originally like a thing from Clueless or the girl that people actually say that. I don't know, but maybe it's like a Valley Girl thing. But I do like when these high school movies like and I feel like every high school sort of does have a few of its own slang words, but that's neither here nor there. I would recommend this movie to anybody who loves Mean Girls, anybody who loves '80s movies. That cultural reference is like really strong, and even though this thing is like late '80s, it's still the '80s, and it's Winona Ryder, and it deserves to be seen. It's Christian Slater. So, like, for you to have a strong pop culture '80s, reference point, this is one of the ones I think you have to see. And yeah, I think it's worth your time. That's my final thought.
Yay. Yeah, so my final thoughts. Glad I got this off the list. So when people try to tell me it's better than Mean Girls, I feel like I watched it and you're wrong. No, it's just like, yeah, it's always cool to kind of see where some of these original ideas came from. Like, I think it was a little ahead of its time, but I think it was still good. I recommend it to someone who just we're talking dark comedy and just maybe a hidden gem that they hadn't seen as well. Because a lot of people might have not watched it thinking it's just like another teen movie, but it's not. And it's like if you're actually into like crazy, like it's kind of slashery in its own way, like not a lot of kills, but it could just be. I bet you there's a lot of people that have not seen it that would love it because they didn't think that a high school movie would be about it. So I
Yeah,
definitely recommend it to those people. I definitely want to watch it again because I think I was so shocked about what it was going to be about. I didn't really do what I usually do and watch a trailer or anything, assuming it was just going to be like a high school movie and then maybe like the bullying was the dark part. Like I did not realize it was murder. So maybe while going back, maybe there's some Easter eggs I missed just having like such a raw um perspective on it. So yeah. So again, yeah, like Jason said, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe in the near future, just having that second watch. But overall, I
sure.
liked it.
Right on, right on. Well, if that's everybody's final thoughts, my only question as it pertains to Cinema Club is, Steve, what do you got for us next week?
Next week, I am so glad that you asked me because guess what? It
What?
is not my turn. Of course, Marina already went. I went. So, of course, it's your turn, Jason. Why you ask me?
Okay, well, that's just how it goes, Steve. I picked a movie. We could pick a movie between what is it, a dark comedy, or we could have picked something that was nominated for my birth year, and I chose the latter. I picked the movie Yo, which won the 1982 Cannes Film Festival. Don't know what it's about. Haven't a clue. Only thing I saw on here is that it won Cannes. So, and I have a love hate relationship with movies that won Cannes. So that's why I picked this thing. So you guys have to watch it with me. We'll see what happens.
Why were you also born so long ago? Goodness gracious.
The way the universe saw fit.
No, it's just to show people that dinosaurs indeed exist at one point.
Right. The
For
one
Jason
from
on
the
the
80s.
for Jason on the square goes, watch, laugh, cry, Marina, and me and Steve. That's Steve. We will catch you next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.